The Treasury Department slapping sanctions on a series of Russian organizations and individuals Thursday in retaliation for meddling in the 2016 presidential campaign and waging cyber attacks on critical U.S. infrastructure. Those sanctions coming the same day that President Trump, along with British Prime Minister Theresa May and the leaders of France and Germany, issued a joint statement denouncing Russia for the nerve gas attack on a former spy and his daughter in Britain earlier this month, calling it a clear violation of international law. I spoke to British businessman Bill Browder earlier. His Russian lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, died in a Moscow prison in 2009 after exposing Russian government corruption. Bill Browder, welcome. Thank you for being here. The poisoning in Britain has all the earmarks of a Russian action. Do you have any doubts that it was Russia?
It's not just it has the earmarks, it was a Russian action. Okay, so this is a military-grade nerve agent only produced by the Russians, and the victim was someone who was considered to be a traitor of Russia.
Okay, but why would the Kremlin, I assume the Kremlin would have to approve this, do you think?
For sure. This is the only one person.
Vladimir Putin. Okay,
yeah.
So why would he take this risk on foreign soil?
Well, you're not calculating in his other issues. So the main thing he's got going on right now is that Russia is running out of money. And the way that he motivates and keeps loyal all of the secret policemen, intelligence agents, generals, etc., is allowing them to either steal money from the state or get money from some other form.
But how does he get money from this operation? This puts some of that money at risk.
Well, hold on a second. So there's not enough money in Russia to pay all these guys and to keep them loyal. And so if you can't use honey, you've got to use vinegar. And so if he can't give them money to keep them loyal, he's got to send a message to them. So he takes a traitor in England who's been gone for a while. He kills him. He hasn't killed yet, but he tries to kill him, tries to kill his daughter. And the message to all the guys back home is, it doesn't matter if you're disloyal, it doesn't matter where you go, when you go, we're going to come after you, we're going to liquidate you, and we're going to liquidate your entire family.
And that's worth the risk to him of perhaps greater sanctions and perhaps hurting the economy further?
So the risk to him of a disloyal secret police service is being overthrown. That's worth more than anything.
Okay, and does this figure in, do you think, at all into the presidential election that's going on over there now?
Well, first of all, you can't call it an election.
Well, we know he's going to win. We know he's rigged it.
It's a fake election.
Okay.
So but it does figure in because the average guy on the street says, yeah, the guy was a traitor in Russia. Right on Putin for killing him.
Okay, but this violates the kind of the normal accepted rules of spycraft. Even in the Cold War, you didn't kill an agent who had been exchanged for your agents after the fact.
But Putin violates every rule everywhere. I mean, he invades, he rewrites the borders of Europe by invading Ukraine. He shoots down civilian aircraft. He cheats in the Olympics. He cheats everywhere. There is no rules for Vladimir Putin.
And that applies also to use of chemical weapons overseas. This is a violation of the Chemical Weapons Convention.
He doesn't care about any convention. There are no laws, no rules, no morality that affect Vladimir Putin.
Okay, so what do you make of the response so far by Prime Minister Theresa May and this in Britain and this rather extraordinary statement by France, Germany, Britain, and the United States, basically saying, yes, it was Russia, and we condemn it?
So everybody is right now looking to Theresa May to say, what is the British Prime Minister going to do? And so far, the British Prime Minister, Theresa May, has said, we're going to do one thing, which is kick out 23 diplomats.
Right.
It is totally not comparable to talk about a chemical weapons attack versus kicking out diplomats. There has to be something much more dramatic to stop Putin from doing this again.
All right, but she's rallied some allies to condemn, and even the United States, given all the doubts about Donald Trump and Russia, they're in on it, on the statement. Do you any importance to that?
Well, it's all great, but she's got to come up with the policy to do something, and the policy should be to go after Putin's money and to go after oligarchs who look after Putin's money.
Right. Okay. On that point, United States on Thursday introduced new sanctions against 19 individuals, 5 organizations that had something to do with meddling in the American election in 2016. And also, the statement from the U.S. said cyber attacks, including on an energy grid. Yep. Now, that's going after some of the oligarchs.
Well, it's going after one oligarch, Putin's chef. Okay, there's this guy, Putin's chef, who is an oligarch. He's also in charge.
You mean chef in a quote?
Well, no, apparently he's a chef,
but he does other things.
He also runs a mercenary operation in Syria
yes.
and doing election hacking. But the point is that there are much more direct targets that nobody has gone after yet, and those are the people, the famous oligarchs, the multi-billionaire guys who look after Putin's money.
All right, well, when you say go after them, you can sanction them to say you can't travel to Britain, you can't travel here. But you're talking about, I gather, something a lot more ambitious, which would be maybe exposing the extent of their foreign assets?
I'm saying freezing their assets. Because Putin, so what you have to understand is Putin doesn't have any money in his own name.
Right.
It's all in the name of other people that are what I call oligarch trustees. And if you freeze their money, you're freezing Putin's money. And no more chemical weapons after that, I promise you.
Because he doesn't have any money in his own name. He depends on their good offices.
He depends on them, and he depends on our weakness not to go after them.
And why isn't the West going after that, given the many depredations from Putin?
Well, I'm here telling your audience and every other audience that will listen that if you want to get to Putin, go after the oligarchs.
That's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
And can you, what do you think, I can't believe, for example, that the Western spy services, MI5 and or MI6 and the U.S. CIA. They must know where this money is, how much it is, and couldn't they just expose it even if you don't freeze it?
There's no reason to expose it. The idea is to freeze it. And if it gets frozen, that will stop Putin right in his tracks.
You think that will stop him right in his tracks?
Right in his tracks. It's so obvious. And it's not just me saying that. Alexei Navalny, who's the only real opposition person in Russia, has said it. Marina Litvinenko, who is the widow of Alexander Litvinenko, who was killed with radioactive material, has said it. Everybody who knows who Putin is knows exactly what to do, and that is what needs to be done.
All right, Bill Browder, thanks for being here. We'll see if they take your advice.
Thank you.